Колеги, вітання.
Good morning, dear colleagues. The Ukrainian Crisis Media Center starts its work, and our first briefing's topic is presentation of Ukrainian algorithm and protocol on tactical medicine Kolseo-Mist based on the NATO standards. And the speakers are Olga Omelchuk, Andriy Porokhnytskyy, Yuriy Marchenko, director of the charitable organization Foundation to Assist Donbass Battalion, Ulla Uibo, who is deputy head of mission of the Estonian embassy in Ukraine, and Natalia Olianyshyna, representative of the NGO Free Ukraine Estonia in Ukraine. We will start from a short video. Please attention to the screen. Everyone uses the system of protocol CEBCD, which is logical and correct, but our fighters do not remember it very well. The NATO system adheres to the abbreviation principle, and of course the wheel is a abbreviation, and this is a prototype of all the consecutiveness in the OECD, but now this is the Ukrainian word, koleso, which means wheel. The first letter is K, the analog to the C, critical bleeding. Critical bleeding, first of all, we look at the wounded person, and when we see critical bleeding, we apply a tourniquet there. Then O, which stands for ogled, which is inspection in Ukrainian. We have to hear whether they breathe. If you don't feel the breathing, then there are two most widespread reasons. Either mechanically something hampers in the mouth, or they swallowed their tongue. So we try to restore the breathing. Then we go to the L stage. L is lungs. We have to provide for the normal work of lungs. And let's remember that we started our actions from the inspection of their chest. So we put our hands on their chests to feel the symmetry. If we do not feel the symmetry, then we try to remember what this means. Then E or E, efficiency of breathing, we check whether we have restored the breathing, and we have indicators that we check this against. Then S, which says for serce, heart in Ukrainian, we check the pulse. If we feel it, then we have to make sure that this is within the limits of 60 to 120, which is admissible. If there is a critical bleeding, then it's less than 60. If it is more than 120, it will be on aorta, and this is a prompt to you. You have to introduce infusion. And the last stage is O, ogled in Ukrainian, inspection. You have to look at all the extremities, and we try to find additional wounds that were not visible or were not found from the very start. Then O is otsinka, which stands for assessment in Ukrainian. I was in Sudan, and I saw an original instrument there that will be working here, and it is important to do something of our own. It's impossible to tell people ACBC, which they, for instance, if they don't know the English language, they won't understand. So wheel or Kolesо in Ukrainian is a very simple thing. You don't have to explain much. Dear colleagues, before you continue, an announcement. One of the speakers is an English language speaker, so if you need headphones, you can take them in the rear of the hall. I'm Olga Omelchuk, sanitary instructor of 12th Battalion, and the idea emanated from the instruction sessions, because those fighters who do not know the English language, they do not actually understand and remember the abbreviation that means a lot for the instruction. So we invented the Ukrainian language abbreviation for this. But first of all, I'd like to express my gratitude, and my idea appeared after I've gone through the training in Estonia. I was invited by Vaba, Ukraina, a public organization, and now we have deputy head of mission of the Estonian embassy in Ukraine, Ulla Uibo, and after she speaks to us, a representative of Vaba Ukraina will talk to us. Hello, everybody. I am Ulla Uibo, and I greet you here on behalf of the Estonian embassy in Kyiv. Ukraine is a friend and partner of Estonia, and our cooperation evolves in many spheres. Estonian humanitarian aid to Ukraine this year has reached €2,350,000, and this is not just a humanitarian help from state institutions, but also voluntary organizations like Vaba Ukraina, Free Ukraine, for instance. And this organization has helped with 2 courses of training for Ukrainian medics. 40 Ukrainian medics visited Estonia, and 20 will come in autumn in order to get trained in Tartu. Vaba Ukraina also helps with medicines and with medical tools. I hope and I know that our cooperation will continue, and I do wish you success and everything the best to Ukraine. Thank you. Hello. Regrettably, the leaders of our organization, Vaba Ukraina, could not come to Kyiv because the tickets are very expensive. Only I made it because I bought a ticket 6 months ago. We started to work on the 11th of August last year, and we have celebrated an anniversary of our work, of our public organization, and Vaba Ukraina has collected to help Ukraine €253,804 84 cents. Maybe this is not so much at the first sight, but this is not the only public organization that works in Estonia, and we are not a very big country. We only have 1,312,000 residents. In October last year, during a charity concert, we collected €175,635, and this entire amount went to Ukraine. We bought 254 medicine kits and 230 backpacks, 211 carriers and 10 other carriers. We also sent foods wheelchairs, medical equipment, and Estonian women have knitted socks for Ukrainian military in the winter. Our main activity is training of Ukrainian paramedics in Estonia, and the budget is over 60,000 euro. We have already trained 2 groups, 40 instructors, and the 3rd group is going to go to Estonia on the 20th of September this year. They study for 8 days, then they go to Tallinn. They spend a day in Tallinn, get acquainted with the city, and they are trained in Tartu at the Military Medical Academy, and then they go back to Ukraine. They get diplomas of international kind, which are recognized in Ukraine on the basis of a treaty signed in 1995 between Ukraine and Estonia. It's called On Legal Help and Legal Relations in Civic and Criminal Cases. These diplomas do not require confirmation or legalization in Ukraine. On the basis of this treaty, they are legal in Ukraine. More than that, if a student who underwent this training decides to continue their training in a stationary medical establishment, then the hours that they were taught in at the medical academy in Tartu will be credited to them. The Estonian system of education is one of the most well-structured in the world, and this concerns also the courses that Ukrainian paramedics go through. And here's the result. I believe that this is the best result of our graduate. Yes, in Ukraine. So I hope that the process of implementation and education on the basis of Kolseo will give prompt results.
Good morning, dear friends. Marchenko Yuriy, the director of the charitable organization Foundation to Assist Donbass. I used to be the chief of medical staff of Donbass. I'm the doctor, gynecologist, and the trainer. I would like to thank Olga that she simplified our work, the work of professional medics, because we with professional thinking, with our professional thinking, we could not invent that during the whole year of a war. We were trying to explain it all in words. We were trying to explain all the civil medicine, and we were trying to adapt it for soldiers who have nothing to do with the medicine. They understand what the pill, the painkiller pill is. That's maximum they knew about medicine. When I saw this, first it was this card with the calendar, I was so much impressed. For me it was a discovery, and immediately when I received the first copy, I started using it when I was explaining the basics for the basics of tactical medicine to the pension battalion. We have a pension battalion, those who are making the disguise nets. There are 10 women there. I gave them these cards and started explaining. In 10-15 minutes, the women of pension age understood what should be done to a wounded person, and in such a consequence, because we theoretically explain everything. And the consequence, why it should be done in such a way. But the soldiers are getting lost. They start from something else. The classical films or other mass media, they somehow touching, trying to find the pulse at the neck, but we were trying to use, we ourselves could not understand in the very beginning that the civil medicine cannot be used for military medicine. When we were invited by Vaba Ukraina, only then we realized what military medicine is, what are the priorities, what should be done with recordings, how this should be done. Because for a doctor who's from a regular clinic in a village, it was very difficult to write down. And that is much simpler. That is for people who came to the army from, and they have different specialities. And we believe that this Mist and Kolseo will produce results not just in training but in efficiency, because according to the standards of tactical medicine, sanitary losses are only 3%, and that's very good indicator. The losses are only from fatal wounds. Everything else is rescued by tactical medicine. People are getting disabled, but fewer people than we have. And I hope this will be a very good impetus for all the units, for the civil medicine, the civil medics, especially those who work in the zone of military action. They should know how to use the tactical medicine. And from myself personally, I would like to thank really Estonian representatives, because all you see here is from Estonia. I don't know, that's probably like 0.00001% of medical kits, of the equipment, and that is thanks to the hard efforts of very small country, Estonia, which has the area of Kyiv region only. But they helped many units and they saved many lives. And we will try to promote this Kolseo, this wheel, so that the soldiers are rescued. Thank you. Good afternoon, Porokhnytskyy Andriy, Dr. Traumatologist. I would like to thank first of all Estonia and Vaba Ukraine for the assistance, invaluable assistance that they are providing to our state, to our servicemen. Thanks to that, thousands of lives were saved. Besides providing this assistance, they teach how to use everything that they give. There were 2 training sessions held already, and Ulla said the truth. The most structural knowledge we received there. I attended many different training sessions. I was at many meetings, but after I had these courses in Estonia, I understood everything clearly. I was against many of the stages which are indicated here. I am absolutely against the trinity, but that is my personal opinion. Yeah, in our medicine, no one can use it, and they put the one for veins, but that only harms. And here I realized that that is what is needed. And now I understand that we need the structure. So thanks to Ulla, we have this wheel, this Kolseo. We were arguing a lot, but we found a consensus. That's all. But the CEBCD, that is the assistance, that is what helps a person to remember things. There are such memes in medicine, like 2 and others, and that is just to simplify the way how you can memorize things. But our people are medically illiterate. We start making heart resurrection, and everyone knows that you have to break 2 ribs when you do that. But the textbooks for schools, I saw these textbooks, that is evil. Half of them are to be burned. And we need to punish, and those who wrote these textbooks are to be punished. And the structured knowledge is very difficult to transfer within a short period of time. This reminder is a very big step, and I believe that, first of all, I don't know whether it is good for military situations, but it is to be introduced in civil medicine as well. Also, this MIST report is a brief card. What we find, the civil medic will tell you that it's much better if you know well whether that's a wound or the bone is broken. And that doctor who was the first one who saw the real picture, if he describes it this way, this will improve the quality of rendering assistance. And that's the culture of how to make documents. And I, of course, will criticize. It would be good to add the name, because the person could become unconscious. Well, there is this badge where there is the name, but still it would be good to have it on a card. I would like to thank Ulla for this big work they have done. That's a serious step forward. This will help to make the process of training easier. We will probably not be strictly within the NATO standard, but we will teach how to provide assistance to people, and then we will maybe later add some additional letters here, but thank you all. Now I would like to say a few words about how, for example, July and August are very tense, busy months. When I worked in the military hospital in Shastya, we have a doctor in Shastya, Vladislav Zborovsky. He's here. Oksana next to him is a nurse who worked in Shastya, and they will confirm that efficiency. The desire of a doctor to get at least some information. We have Andriy Demura here, 12th Battalion, and he was bringing the wounded people, and he's an expert, and he understands. He could confirm when the wounded were brought, the doctors would ask all they needed, would ask him about the information they needed, and it was interesting to see that for a very long time our soldiers were considered to be sort of illiterate. They will not write, they don't need these reports, and now we started trainings, and I see that they will start writing, and that's the beginning. Thank you for coming. You can get as many cards as you need. First time we printed 70,000 of them, and there are applications. Yaroslava from Aidar has the application forms. You can fill them in, how many of them you need and where they should be delivered. We will print them out and give them to you. Thank you. Thank you, Olga. Thank you, speakers. If you have any questions, if you need to clarify anything, please ask. No questions, no clarifications. One from UCMC, this algorithm, this video version and text, can we find it online and where? We did not download it, but we'll do it, and we will give a link to the UCMC. Will it be somewhere in your resources? Kolseo doesn't have own resource, but we will inform. Probably we need to have some page to collect the applications, to have some contacts. It's just 2 weeks old. It's still developing. We'll do it all. Thank you, and all the best to you. Thank you.